energy. I think the House will agree she's got a lot more energy than the current leader of the opposition. I welcome her point, because actually what the government is doing is supporting people throughout the pandemic. 2.2 million people supported with the Warm Homes discount, Mr. Speaker, worth £140 per week, which we introduced. Pensioners supported with the £300 winter fuel payments, Mr. Speaker. Cold weather payments worth £25 a week for 4 million people up and down the country, Mr. Speaker. That is what we are doing, Mr. Speaker, and that is on top of everything we're doing to support people on low incomes, cutting taxes for those on universal credit, increasing the living wage, £1,000 more for everybody on the living wage, up record sums. And Mr. Speaker, let me just remind the House of the fundamental difference between that party and this government. They would have kept us in lockdown in July, Mr. Speaker. When Omicron hit, they were calling for further restrictions. That's right, Mr. Speaker. We've been able to keep this country moving and keep the economy growing and keep the money coming into people's pockets, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I'll tell you what this Prime Minister is doing. He's increasing taxes to the hard-working people of this country. That's what he's doing. That's what he didn't promise in his manifesto, but that's what he's doing to the people. And I quote, Mr. Speaker, the poorest households spend 3 times more on their income on household energy bills than the richest households spend. VAT on energy bills makes gas and electricity more expensive. Yeah. Not my words, Mr. Speaker, but the words of the Prime Minister himself. When energy bills are going to be hiked again in April, any decent government would find a way to help British families. Even the Tory backbenchers have finally accepted Labour's call to cut VAT on energy bills. So will he finally stand up to his Chancellor and do the same?
Mr. Speaker, let me remind, because she wasn't obviously listening to the previous answer, let me remind her, the Warm Homes discount already, 2.2 million people supported to the tune of £140 a week. Pensioners supported with £300 through the winter fuel payment. The cold weather payments for 4 million people. And they now have the effrontery, Mr. Speaker, having campaigned, and she did too, I think, didn't she? I think. Oh yes, she campaigned to remain in the EU. Oh yes, she did. They now have the barefaced cheek to come to this House of Commons and say that they want to cut VAT on fuel, when everybody knows, and he did too, Mr. Speaker, everybody knows full well it would be absolutely impossible if they were to do what Labour would do and go back into the EU, remain aligned with the EU single market. That is the objective of the Labour Party. They can't be trusted on Brexit, Mr. Speaker, and they can't be trusted on the economy.